Today, I have a confession to make. Ever since I was young, I've been entrepreneurial. And when I was thinking about one day growing up to be a CEO, I imagined it the way we all see it in the movies. I thought there might be a corner office with glass windows overlooking Manhattan skyline, and that I would just bark at people on the phone to get things done, and that somehow those people would still respect me and invite me to their daughter's weddings. And over the years, since growing up a little bit, I've been lucky enough to fill that role, to be a CEO probably 6 or 7 times by now. And in observing my own behavior, I've realized that I probably do some of the lowest leverage work at every organization I'm part of. And all of this reminds me of a blog post I read several years ago when I got into tech startups. It was on Fred Wilson's blog, and he's quoting someone else who he asked about being CEO. And he said, what is their job? And that person told him, a CEO has 3 jobs. They need to maintain the strategy and the vision, communicating it to everyone who matters. They need to recruit great talent to make that vision a reality. And they need to make sure that there's enough money in the bank. And so in reflecting on how I used to think I would behave if I was in this role, how I do behave in this role, and some of that wisdom, that rare W wisdom from venture capitalists, I started to think that maybe this is okay. Maybe we actually can build meaningful businesses, create jobs, provide for our families, make cool products while staying low leverage. Maybe we don't always need something like AI to give us a bionic arm and make everything that we do have a force multiplier effect. I personally will also admit this today. I've never used AI. I'm not a doomer. I think it's very cool. I get it. Maybe one day. Until then, I'm going to show you just a few examples of what I do during the day that isn't high leverage, a few examples of things that TRMNL as a company does that are very not high leverage or best practice, and then show you some of those results so that you can decide for yourself. And I'm sharing this just to kind of throw another perspective in there. If you're thinking about starting a company, you don't really have to be on the bleeding edge of everything all the time. The number one thing you need to understand is people. And I'm going to show you how we do that here. So here we are on our homepage, and you'll notice something as I scroll around. There's no pop-ups. There's no email newsletter capture. We get a pretty good bit of traffic. We could definitely convert some of those people if we put them into some kind of drip campaign, send them a 10% off coupon in 3 days, but we just don't. Because I think we're attracting the wrong people, and I don't want to pressure people into buying something they don't need. And same thing goes if you jump over to our store. We have a Shopify store. I've been building on Shopify for 11 years. There's no shortage of solutions to put on a store to get more people to buy your products. You can do exit intent. So if I hover to the corner, show something, try to collect their phone number and text them. We just don't do any of that because I think it's annoying. It's not on brand for a TRMNL, and more importantly, it's not on brand for me. So we're not going to do that. If an e-commerce agency were to look at our setup, they would be horrified, and that's okay with us because we're not trying to follow best practices. Same thing goes for our email marketing tool. We use this thing called Metoric. It's kind of like Klaviyo. And if you go through our emails, you'll see we send 1 newsletter per month. Those newsletters are like plain text because HTML looks gross in some clients, and HTML gets blocked, and HTML is hard to read on a phone. It just makes everything bloated. So we send plain text emails once a month. If you go over to our abandoned cart emails where, why did you leave this in your cart? Get 10% off. Don't forget. We used to have all of that. We still have all of that, but it's all turned off because it's all annoying. You can see every single one of them is paused. Looks like this is looking at a few months last year. You can see it got some conversions, 99 conversions. So that's like real money, right? Our product costs over $100. But 1%, so we made, I don't know, $10,000 and we annoyed 9,000, 13,000 people. It just doesn't make any sense to me, dude. So we're not gonna do that. Maybe one day someone else will run Terminal and they can make more money and they can annoy people. But until then, we're just gonna stay in this low leverage human spectrum. I can keep going. These are not necessarily things that are low leverage, but just things that are in that don't scale category. This is someone who saw us launch a couple years ago, linked us here. Half the comments are like, whatever. Lawrence says it looks awful. And yet this person has since become an awesome community member, like invaluable community member. They build plugins, they help other users, they're part of the community, and just like an awesome person in general. And you would have never known from this if we were trying to do things like the scalable way, or if we got scared and jumped in and left a comment and tried to defend ourselves all the time. Just let people talk, let things handle themselves, the invisible hand, the market, all of that. Just see what happens. More examples, we then later built Tidbit. And this post, this announcement was one of the top posts in Tidbit's subreddit of all time. Tidbit, if you're not aware, is this really cool LED color matrix product. It's got to be plugged in to work, but it lets you show weather and all kinds of cool stuff. They've been around longer than Terminal. It's great, but they did shut down after they got acquired. And so now we wanted to give Tidbit owners a home. So that's just an example of building something people wanted, putting a link to it, and that's it. No Facebook ads, no Meta, no TikTok, no people that are half naked dancing to sell our products. I just don't think we should have to do that. Same goes with something like Home Assistant. Home Assistant's obviously a huge behemoth of a platform. It's very popular. And after a couple years, we finally got Home Assistant live, but we didn't announce it. We still haven't announced it. Someone in the community just linked to what we built. This is not a press release, and this is done awesome. You know, they said Terminal, class act, great team, etc. This has just been a billboard for us that we didn't have to pay for. It doesn't scale. It's not a Facebook ad, and that's okay. Now, some of what I'm sharing here is unique to building a consumer product. I spent 12 years in B2B, and no matter how great your CRM is or your analytics tool may be, you're probably not going to have customers raving about you online. It's just not the vibe. So some of this is really unique to what we're doing with consumer. But what that means is at least you can replicate that, because most products out there are for consumers. There's a lot more consumers than there are businesses. And then one more I just wanted to show. This is an example where we didn't even build anything yet. We didn't even put in the engineering. We didn't even invest any money or make a bet that hopefully paid off. Here we made an announcement of a commitment we have to try to make a panel that fits on the new Steam Machine gaming console. And this was our greatest tweet of all time. It was like debated not even posting it, but it was our greatest tweet of all time. It drove us new people to the community. And now, of course, we're more motivated than ever to make this screenshot you see here a reality, e-ink for your gaming console. And so I just wanted to share some of these quick examples to highlight that the types of things I do as quote unquote CEO can be reduced to stuff that you might already be doing as an individual contributor, or even just as a spectator or a fan of some brand. I'm listening to people, responding to people, trying to be nice. Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes it really pays off. Repeat. There's no bionic arm, right? I didn't just show you some social listening tool dashboard that we set up, that we labored over for months. Of course, I have things like Google Alerts, so do you probably, and that's it. It's just this process of understanding, trying to understand people, share what we're working on. It's not that high leverage, but the outcomes can appear high leverage if it works. So I hope this was helpful. I've got so many things I want to talk about in future behind the scenes episodes. I'm going to take you out and about. We're going to do warehouse tours. We're going to look at our admin panel. We're gonna look at code, features we never released, features that are coming out soon. But I'd also love to hear from you what you'd like to see most, and that will help me organize upcoming episodes. I give myself about an hour a week to put one of these together. I think I'm 45 minutes into making this one, had a couple false starts. So I hope this was helpful. Hope you have a rad weekend. And until next time, stay focused.